Hello, as always, welcome back to the channel. This is Jake here at Nerd Level Rising, and today I'm going to talk about everything I'm going to do in September, right? And man, these TBR videos I think are going to be super fun. On my own, right, before I started a channel, I always loved the turn of the month, right? To be able to reflect back on the past month, think about all the cool stuff, all the cool stories that I got to experience, and think about everything that's coming up, right? All the series that I'm going to get to continue, right? What do I get to finish? What do I get to start that's brand new? All of that is so exciting and so fun for me. I love it. So this stack is everything I'm going to do in September, and it's kind of deceptive looking, right? It's not as much as it looks like. I know a lot of people read way more than me. I don't have that much time to read. I'm going to be honest, right? I have a lot of other stuff going on. I've mentioned on the channel before, I'm a PhD student. I have data collection for my dissertation going on right now. I have a job. I have a girlfriend, partner that, you know, we try to spend time together, obviously, right? That's important. You got to sleep at some point. There's a lot going on. So I read for an hour on average per day, something like that. Maybe an hour and a half on some good days. There's days I don't get to read at all. It just depends on everything that's going on. So and I'm also not the fastest reader on the planet anyway, even with that. So I don't get through as much as some other people do, but I do get to read more than some other people do. So I'm grateful for what I do get. But nonetheless, this stack is bigger than it really looks, right? Or it looks bigger than it really is, I should say. I said that backwards. Let me start with this one on the top. This is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. And you can see, shout out Talking Story, my Talking Story bookmark right there. Beautiful. I love that. It's such a cool bookmark. I like it a lot. Anyway, shout out to those guys. They're the best. Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This is going to be my bedtime read, I think, for this month. And I don't know how long it's going to take me. I mean, this book is like 500 pages long or something. So if I get through my normal, 10-ish, 10 to 15 pages a night before I fall asleep, this is probably going to take me at least all of September. And that's okay. But I chose this as my bedtime read because I think it'll be pretty light and pretty streamlined, straightforward, kind of easy to process and digest. I need something like that for before bed, right? Most of what I read is in the morning. That's how I like to ease into my day with some coffee and a good book. Gets my brain working, all that kind of stuff. I love it. I also like to read a little bit before bed, but it needs to be something light. I can't handle really complex things right before bed because my brain is just exhausted at that point. So I'm going to get into this. Why did I choose this? One, I love Sanderson. I've read the entire Cosmere. It's some of my favorite stuff that's out there. Hands down, easy choice. I've never read anything outside of the Cosmere. And I'm interested to try this. I've heard some good things. I'm a little concerned, to be honest, because I don't read much YA at all, right? Obviously, I read some growing up, but as an adult, I haven't read hardly any YA, barring, maybe a reread of Harry Potter or something like that, right? There's just not much. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. And I'm going to try it anyway because I trust Sanderson to give me a good story. I trust him to give me good characters. And I also want some more sci-fi, right? I think people who've watched the channel so far, I know I've talked about Sun Eater a lot and I had a whole video on Dune, but my reading is probably 80% fantasy. And I really want to get more sci-fi in the mix. And I think this is a step closer to that anyway. So we'll give this a shot. I don't know a ton about this series. I know it's obviously about Spencer and most YA stuff tends to be about coming of age and maybe some rebelling against the adults and learning about the harsh realities of the world and figuring that out and all of that. I know that there's obviously sci-fi stuff in here, so there's going to be spaceships. I think there's a robot companion. I think there's like maybe a found family kind of element in here maybe, or at least a teamwork with the rest of the crew, that kind of stuff. There's doom slugs somewhere. I don't even know really what that is, but I know they're in here somewhere. So we'll see. We'll see what's up with this. I'm excited to get into it. Hopefully I like it. I don't know. We'll see. I think I will. I think I'll like it. I'm going into it with a very optimistic, excited mindset. So we'll see. After that, we're really at the same time, right? Because this is going to go through the whole month. And I started this morning actually, and I'm recording this on the last day of August. So I was a day ahead. This video won't come out for a couple days probably, but I started One Piece again. I've been slowly reading the manga a chunk at a time, and most recently I got through the Arabasta arc or saga, I don't know, a few months ago, something like that, a couple months ago, and it was great. I loved it. That was East Blue was good, right? Arabasta was really good. And I'm like, okay, I'm bought in. This is a series for me. I'm going to do it. And it's been a minute since I was in that world because I just wanted to read some other things, and I'll come back. Reading manga is a little bit annoying for me, if I'm being completely honest, just because it's so expensive. I have some on the shelf back here, right? Because early on reading manga, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I want to have them. And I quickly learned just how expensive that becomes. It is a very, very expensive thing to buy physical manga. Someday, maybe I'll be able to buy all these on physical that I want. But, you know, even with the collections that are kind of at a discounted price for One Piece, you're looking at, you know, $400+ to get all the physical copies. And I can't do that, you know. So for now, I'm reading it all online, and that's just not my favorite reading experience, right? To read it, especially having to read it on the computer, I just don't like it that much. So that takes away from my my ability to get through the series faster, just because I don't like the experience that much. The story is awesome. I love it, right? I was talking to Iskandaria. I hope I'm saying that name right. I believe that I am. A little bit on in the comment section of one of my recent videos. No, it wasn't in my video. I think it was in the Talking Story Town Hall video. Town Hall. Oh my goodness. Oh, John and Jacob, I'm sorry, guys. I've been one of the staunch people, one of the last remaining, who have always called it Town Square from day one, and I've never once called it Town Hall, and I always thought it was so silly that people can't get it straight, and here I am calling it Town Hall in my video. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay. Town Square, I was talking to Iskandaria a little bit about One Piece and just how much he is fallen head over heels in love with the series, and he just speed ran through the anime. And you know, I don't know if I'll watch I'll watch the remake, right? I don't think I can get on board with the 1,000+ episodes that are already stacked up. But if I start at day one with episode 1 and follow along, I think I can do that. But nonetheless, going to go through the manga first, and it's been awesome. I'm really excited for the Sky Island saga that I started this morning. There's already a lot going on here with what I got through this morning, and being introduced to new characters, and you know, this island in the sky, right, as the Straw Hat crew is continuing to kind of go island to island and have these adventures, these sort of more not episodic but little adventure chunks, right? That each thing seems like it's propelling the overall story forward. And we'll see. So I'm excited to see what's up with this new island, meet some new pirates, see some new devil fruit powers, see what's up with Nico Robin, right? We just got introduced to her recently, right, in the Arabasta arc. So I'm excited to learn more about her because she's a fan favorite and I just don't know anything about her. And we'll keep going. So I'm excited for more One Piece in my life. That'll be fun. I've heard divisive things about Skypiea. Some people love it, some people don't. I've been told there's some very important foreshadowing in there. So I'm trying to go in with a very discerning eye. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I think I'm just going to read the Sky Island saga. It'll probably take me less than a week to get through that. And then I'll pause there for a moment, read some other stuff, and then come back and get into the next, I think Water 7's after that. So we'll come back. That's kind of how I'm going to do One Piece, I think, just like an arc at a time. That seems to be a good way for me to go. Okay, so the first main read of the month is going to be Assail by Ian C. Esselmont. And this is the conclusion to the novels of the Malazan Empire. And for anyone who is unaware, we have the Malazan Book of the Fallen by Steven Erikson. That's what most people think of when they think of Malazan, right? Is the Book of the Fallen. But this series is a 6-book series that runs concurrently, for the most part, with the Book of the Fallen. And then the last couple of books in this series progress further past the conclusions, where we left off at the end of the Crippled God. So together, they really make up the main series. A lot of people think of the Book of the Fallen as the main series in Malazan, but they really have to be read with this to get the full collective narrative, right? And I would imagine, in true Malazan fashion, things are not all going to be tied up at the end of this, right? I'm expecting that we will continue some threads, that we will leave some things hanging, that we'll finish some things, we'll start some other new things. That seems to just be how these guys work. They just continuously give us more new stuff, as this ever-growing empire of books, right, of stories within this world. And I love it for that, right? I do have some hopes for this book of some storylines that I really want to see continued. I don't know if they will be or not, but I really hope that I get something with those. There are things that have been hanging in there since The Crippled God that have not been touched in the 5 of these books by Esselmont that I've read so far that I really hope we get into with this one, because now in the timeline of the universe, we're kind of at that point now. So I hope we get it. But I've had an up and down experience with Esselmont's books. You know, I really, really liked Knight of Knives, I think more than most people. Return of the Crimson Guard, I struggled with the first half, but then the second half I loved. Stonewielder I really loved. Orb Scepter Throne was my favorite in the series by far. I loved that book. Blood and Bone was again kind of a struggle for me. And then been like 5 or 6 months, I think, since I read Blood and Bone. And now we get to this last one, Assail. And I'm excited, like I said, just where we're at in the timeline, I'm excited for that. I loved everything about Assail in the Book of the Fallen. So I'm really looking forward to this. Ian Esselmont does not get enough credit. You know, I will be honest, my personal taste, I have connected more to Erickson's work than I have to Esselmont's work so far. But he's still an incredible writer, right? Absolutely incredible. These books are brilliant. They are every bit as deep and as thoughtful and as thought-provoking as Erickson's books are. The characters are every bit as good and interesting and deep and layered and just all of those same things. And the humor is still there. It's the same. It's crazy to me that the two writers do feel very distinct, but there are some very similar things that feel the same between them, right? The humor feels very, very similar. It feels like they're sort of speaking from the same mind in a lot of ways, and from a different mind in some other ways too, which I think is good. Keeps it feeling fresh, keeps it feeling, you know, that they both do have their identity as writers, and I think that's very important, but I love that it's cohesive at the same time. So please don't sleep on the Esselmont books. They're still great, even if I haven't enjoyed them quite as much as the Book of the Fallen, but absolutely fantastic. And for anyone who wants a deeper dive into these, I'll make a video about these at some point. But Philip Chase and AP Canavan at A Critical Dragon have made videos talking through each of these during their read-along. I believe, was that last year, I think, when they were going through and reading these books, and they have some videos with Esselmont on there as well, right? It's like an interview about the book, and those are awesome. They really help you catch a lot of depth that you might have missed if you're anything like me. So that'll be the first main read of the month. After that, I'm going to need something light and easy, right? Malazan books they're dense and they require thought and attention. They're not, I mean, it's still, you know, Brian Bell says this, right? And I 1000% agree. They're still just books, man. I mean, there's still just words on a page that you do need to pay closer attention than you might in some other books. You know, it might be helpful to take some notes here and there, but it's still just a book, dude, right? We don't need to be scared of it. Nonetheless, though, I often feel like I need a little bit of a mental break after a Malazan book. So I want something that's nice and light after that. And I think 2 just super quick, easy reads will be good for me at that point. We're going to do this one first. An Inheritance of Magic by Benedict Jacka. And this is a book that I bought completely on impulse based on the title and secondarily based on the cover art, right? I don't know why I like this cover art so much. I think it's just the blue, right? The blue with this kind of, I don't know, goldenrod, I guess, color, you would say. But I just really love that blue. That's so striking, and the title is just awesome. And I think book 2 that is coming out in October is called An Instruction in Shadow. And if this dude is going to keep coming out with titles like that, I'm going to keep buying the books just for that reason, right? Like it sounds so cool. I don't know hardly anything about what this is about. I think there's some sort of like magical society or school or something going on, you know, in this. Maybe some kind of urban fantasy vibe. I know that he wrote the Alex Verus books that I believe are urban fantasy that I've never read, but I've been told are very good. So I have high hopes for this. I don't know hardly anything about it, like I said, but we're just going to go in blind and have fun. I think that's really important to do sometimes. I don't know, at least for me, it's fun to know what I'm getting into and kind of have my brain set a certain way and expectations set a certain way. And I enjoy that. But nonetheless, I do sometimes really enjoy just going in completely blind and just seeing what the ride has in store. And that's what I'm going to do with this. I think that'll be fun. I'll rip through this thing too. I think it's like 300 pages, 350, something like that. The print is relatively large, so I think we'll get through this nice and fast. And that'll be a really nice just refresher after a Malazan book. After that, I got to break out my Kindle for this one because there is no physical copy yet available. And it sounds like someday we will have a very nice omnibus that we can get for all of these, according to Mr. Christopher Rocchio, but that will be Tales of the Sun Eater, Volume 2, and I don't know if you guys can see this. Maybe there's a glare, I hope not. If it's bad, I'll put a little graphic here, maybe just right there over it, so you can see it a little more pleasantly. But this is with the updated art that just came out. And I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting the artist's name at this point. Something Cook, I believe was his name. But I love this, and if you saw my my mid-year freakout video, you know how much I love Valka, and to see this artwork of her, I just love it. It's cool as hell. I love it. So these short stories will be sort of the next thing that I get into. I really like the first short story collection, at least as far as short stories go. I'm really not a short story person for the most part, so I don't anticipate these being my favorite thing that I've read in the world, but I do think that I'll like them. I'm so bought into Rakio, right? I absolutely adore his writing, and I will read anything that this dude writes and puts out. So I'm very excited for this. I think this will be another nice, like, just kind of short and sweet, quick, action-packed, fast-paced, fun, adventure, whatever kind of thing. Again, a little bit more sci-fi, right? I'm trying to get some sci-fi in here, and that'll be nice. So I'm looking forward to those, getting into those after Inheritance of Magic. Then the other main read of the month. You guys know what this is, right? Like most people, I'm getting ready for the finale of the Bloodsworn trilogy in October, so we got to do Hunger of the Gods in September, right? We got to make sure we're ready. I read Shadow of the Gods here this month at the end of August. We're going to finish off September with this so that I can get in the end of October with book 3. Man, if you watched my previous video kind of wrapping up what I did in the last couple weeks of August, that NLR episode 2, and talked about Shadow of the Gods in there, and I had a couple things that I don't know if they're critiques per se, but just I'm hoping for some other little things, right? But I did 98% of the way. Really, really loved that book, especially the way that it ended, and it's got me so excited to jump into this. I mean, again, look at the cover. I mean, you can't beat the cover of book 1 for me. I mean, a dragon like that is just so next level. But a huge thing like this is amazing. I feel like I'm sort of in the minority of, like, I'm kind of tired of wolves in fantasy at this point. I mean, like, wolves are such a common trope in fantasy that I love tropes. I really do. But give me something other than a wolf. I mean, give me a fox, or like, give me something, literally anything else. I don't care, literally anything else. But nonetheless, despite slight gripes about the wolf on the cover, I am very excited for this. And we will wrap up September with it and then get into October for book 3. Man, John Gwynn, right? He's batting 1,000 for me, right? 8 for 8 so far with his books, and that'll be the 9th one that I read by him, and I fully expect it to be every bit as awesome and authentic and just so, man, I don't know, just really wrap me up in that world, just like his other ones have. So I'm excited for that. On the anime front, we're continuing a lot of those same shows, really all the same shows I've been talking about, right? We have Nier Automata, the really in-depth, heavy sci-fi one. We have Alia Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian, the rom-com that I'm really enjoying. We have My Hero Academia, your classic shonen adventure that we're going to continue that. I don't know if that'll wrap up in September, but it might. I can't remember. But we'll keep going on that. 2.5 Dimensional Seduction, that one is all about this cosplay club that's really all about, just being true to yourself and doing what you love and finding a community of like-minded people. That one will continue onward past September, but we'll keep going with that. Oshinoko should conclude in September, I believe, and I can't wait to see how season 2 ends. It's been so good so far. And then at the end of September, early October is kind of when the anime season shifts, right? So we'll get to start some new stuff in October, so that'll be really fun. But I don't want to rush it, right? Before we get to that, let's finish and enjoy the ending of these shows. I'll continue my rewatch of Yu-Gi-Oh! We get to get into the Battle City arc here next as I get into season 2, and I love that arc so much. I have a very nostalgic spot for the Duelist Kingdom stuff because obviously that came first. But man, Battle City is in a lot of ways, in pretty much every way, it's a step up, right? I mean, for the most part, the animation gets better. The artwork gets a little bit more consistent. They actually play by the rules of the game. They don't just kind of make stuff up for plot reasons and things like that. And the stakes continue to raise. We see more of the Egyptian stuff coming into play. The overarching plot gets wrapped up into the card game even more. It's better in every way, even if I don't have quite as much nostalgia for it. But it's 90 96% as much nostalgia. I'll be honest. It still just means the world to me. So I can't wait to get back into that and continue that show. And but first, before we get to that, I get to watch the Dungeon Dice Monsters, which real ones know, right? Real Yu-Gi-Oh fans know just how amazing the Dungeon Dice Monsters section was. It's what, like 5 episodes long or something, and I wish we got a full game. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go off the rails for a second. How many of you guys watching this? Number one, probably not that many of you are Yu-Gi-Oh fans, but if you were, did anyone have the physical Dungeon Dice Monsters game that you could play on the tabletop? Because I did, and I wish I still had it. I don't have the slightest idea what happened to it. That thing is probably worth so much money at this point if it was still sealed in the box, but it was so much fun to play, and I really, 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 really wish that that was a thing. I don't know, even a video game of that would be so much fun. I would love that, man. So I don't know. I love those episodes, so I get to get into that here pretty soon. Then we get into season 2 with the Battle City tournament, and that'll be awesome. But that's everything I got, right? It's going to be a pretty packed September. It's going to be very, very fun. I'm so excited to get to these stories. I'm so excited to conclude the novels of the Malazan Empire, to start a couple new series there, to continue with the middle book in this one as we prepare for the finale, get some short stories, get some more good anime. There's so much good stuff. Hopefully we got some more D&D coming. Hopefully I can get into Magic again, man. Like it's just been so hard to find time to play these things with just how crazy other stuff in life has been, which is sad. But nonetheless, that's how life goes, right? You got to get your actual work done too. So thank you for watching. If you stuck through this whole video, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and leave me a comment. That's the biggest thing. I know I keep saying this like a broken record, but man, it genuinely makes me so happy. Every time somebody leaves a comment and I can go see what you said, like what thoughts are you sharing? Did you read one of these, and you're letting me know what you thought, or you're letting me know what you're going to read, and maybe I hear about something I've never come across before. I can add it to my TBR, or I can just get exposed to things I haven't been exposed to. I love all that kind of stuff. I love those interactions. They've been so fun. It's been a blast doing this so far. So thank you guys for everybody who's commented and talked to me in there. It's just been amazing just getting introduced into this community and just feeling the love so far. It's been awesome. So please leave me comments. If you like the video, check out some of my other stuff. If you like what I'm doing here, hit that subscribe button and stick around, man. I mean, it's all about talking to people, right? It's all about community and making friends and all of that. That's what I want. More subscribers means I can reach more people and have that feeling with more people, right? That's what I want. At the same time, I'll be honest, right? I'm not going to shy away from it. I like seeing the number go up. It's just fun, right? It's fun to see those metrics increase. So that's a thing too, but for the most part, I just want to talk to people, man. I just want to have fun. So thank you so much for watching this. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening to me ramble about all this nerdy stuff that I like. And I'm just going to keep doing it, man, because it's a great old time. So thank you again. I'll see you next time.